Big Ten Conference.
Bret Bielema back in Madison, where he engineered 68 wins in 7 seasons as Wisconsin's head coach, but today looking for his second win at Camp Randall as the visiting head coach, bringing his 21st ranked Illinois Fighting Illini to battle Wisconsin, who upset Washington last time here at home, and excited for a senior day send-off here at Camp Randall as we are set for football on the Big Ten Network, presented by Graduate by Hilton. Hello, everybody. Great to be here with you. Rhett Lewis, former Iowa Hawkeye Anthony Herron, Danny Rogers will be with us from the field here in just a moment for Illinois. Bowl eligible now in back-to-back seasons after a win last week over Maryland, which feels like a symbol of the consistency that Bret Bielema has built with this program.
That's the right word for it, Rhett. You and I both played in this conference. We know that Illini football hasn't always had this type of consistency, but through 5 seasons, Bret Bielema already has the best start in program history, and now a chance for continued history. This 2-year stretch they're in right now, the best the Illini have ever seen.
Big part of that success, of course, the signal caller Luke Altmaier, one of the most prolific passers in the conference, but do not discount his athleticism. 62 rushing yards on 11 carries last week in that win over Maryland, and a challenge for those young linebackers of Wisconsin.
No doubt. I mean, the passing numbers for Luke Altmaier are out of this world, but what he does with his legs as a multi-dimensional talent, he's a weapon like we rarely see in college football because he's got the efficiency, he's got the consistency in himself as well, but the combustibility in the open field as an athlete. You're seeing the 7 rushing first downs that he's had over the last 2 games. That'll be a big weapon for the Illini in the red zone, and it'll have to be covered like all blades of grass by 2 of the best young linebackers in the Big Ten Conference, Mason Polsa, Cooper Catalano. They've only been in the starting lineup for the last few weeks, but they have already found themselves ascending at the top of every opposing scouting report.
Yeah, no question. And at the top of the stat sheet in terms of freshman tacklers in the conference, 3rd and 4th, and as you mentioned, have only been playing really since that Ohio State game. All right, for more now on the familiarity from the Illinois sideline coming into this game here at Camp Randall, we send it down to Danny Rogers.
Rhett, Bret Bielema got his first head coaching job almost 20 years ago right here at Wisconsin. So Coach B's mindset on returning back to Madison is, well, been here, done that. That's because he was here back in 2022 with his Fighting Illini. His defensive coordinator, Aaron Henry, though, is taking a little bit of a different approach to his alma mater. Coach Henry played here for Coach B at Wisconsin, and he got wind of some bulletin board material from some local radio here in Madison that claimed Illinois, quote, has done nothing. Well, that didn't sit well with Coach Henry, and if you know him, you know that if you bring the fire, he'll bring the gasoline, and that's exactly what he did in his defensive meetings this week, making sure his unit has a little bit of extra motivation.
Oh, if there's a guy who loves a little bit of that competitive edge, it is Coach Henry. Fired up when we got a chance to talk to him last night. Danny, thanks very much. And the Fighting Illini won the toss. Wisconsin wins the toss. Illinois will receive the kick. The Badgers deciding to defer. And so we will see Luke Altmaier in the Illinois offense out here first. Luke Altmaier, a tremendous player the last 3 seasons. Big part of that consistency we were just talking about here. 56 touchdowns in his career, and the first quarterback in program history to throw 20-plus touchdowns in back-to-back seasons, 20th and 21st of the year, going to Hudson Clement, who's really come on last week at Maryland.
Bret Bielema, Barry Lunney, this entire coaching staff, they just beam when they talk about Luke Altmaier for the progression he's had every single season as a starter.
So Altmaier in the gun to open this thing up. 3 receivers, and he's going to get it out complete to Colin Dixon for that first completion. Ricardo Hallman, one of those seniors for Wisconsin, on the tackle right there. As we get a look at an Illinois offense averaging 32.2 points per game right now.
And at the offensive tackle position, J.C. Davis at left tackle, one of the top NFL prospects on the field tonight. Watch out for Hudson Clement. He's really been emerging as a wideout for the Illini here in recent weeks.
So 2 yards on first down when we get an early start here. JVR Suggs crossing the line of scrimmage. See if he was drawn offsides. Cole Knippel, our official.
31 with contact in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So it was JVR Suggs, moved a little bit early there. Ant's going to give the Illini a second and short opportunity now with those extra 5 yards.
A little anxious on the inside there was JVR Suggs. And that's one of the things that a veteran quarterback gives you. Luke Altmaier's been able to, at a really high clip this season, get the opposing D-line to jump off sides.
Khalil Valentine will get the first carry, and he is brought down almost immediately there by the Badgers defense, and a defense that's been getting after the quarterback. They got 5+ sacks in each of the last 2 weeks.
Darrell Peterson has really been leading the way, one of their more experienced edge rushers who's been getting after the quarterback. They love having Christian Allegro back in the lineup as well. He'll have a club on his hand throughout the game, but he's still a playmaker, as is Ricardo Hallman on the back end. We've seen what he's capable of doing.
And Allegro is out there right now in a third down situation for that Wisconsin Badger defense. 3rd and 2 here for Luke Altmaier. Good protection, and he's got it complete. It's Hudson Clement. They'll move the sticks early here, get that first down of the game.
So the Wisconsin defense, they're often a fairly static look on the back end, not a lot of stemming up front. When they get into some predictable passing downs, you'll see them in the front 7 start to move around. Right now, off coverage zone concepts early.
8-yard gain on that 3rd down conversion. Back to the air goes Altmaier. Again, pretty good protection, working right to left and then back to the right side. And he's got it complete. It's Davin Stoffel, the tight end, that goes into Wisconsin territory. It's a gain of 24, one of 5 tight ends that'll likely see the field tonight for the Illini.
The pass protection here really solid, but Luke Altmaier still decides to evacuate the pocket, finding an additional window. The pass pro's been really good for Illinois over the last few weeks, but part of that is because Luke Altmaier, once he goes from punch step to plant foot, he sees the field really cleanly and can extend the play.
Illini alternating running backs often on this first possession. It's Valentine back in now. He'll get the carry on 1st down, and he is brought down quickly by this Wisconsin defense. Cooper Catalano, that one half of that terrific freshman tandem of linebackers.
This offensive line for Illinois, they've really gelled as of late. So this matchup we're seeing right now, that front 7 for the Badgers, that's been one of the most imposing in the Big Ten Conference, even in a season where their offense has struggled. They're faced up with an offensive line for Illinois. It's really been gelling in recent weeks.
Yeah, Brett Bielema saying left tackle J.C. Davis, left guard Josh Geske played their best ball of the season last week in that win over Maryland. Altmaier on 2nd down, has it intercepted! Matt Young comes up with the pick for the Wisconsin defense as he was going to the ground, caught it twice, but just as nice for the Badgers. So Altmaier and the Illini on the move early, can't come up with the completion there on a 2nd down throw, and Wisconsin with an early takeaway. We'll see Carter Smith when we return. Back in Madison, where during the break we had an official review of the Matt Young interception, and our referee Cole Knippel saying that tip of the ball did end up touching the ground, so the interception was overturned. Would have been Altmaier's 6th of the season and 1st for Young.
It's narrowly bounced on the ground there as he was trying to corral it.
And so the takeaway comes off the board in a 3rd and 9 for Luke Altmaier. Again, pretty good protection, but he moves out to his left, and eventually the protection breaks down. Darrell Peterson in there. Sebastian Cheeks. JVR Suggs with some of the initial pressure and a big-time stop after some adversity there for the Wisconsin defense. And
they're coming from all angles, and these are some of the games I was just referencing a moment ago, Rhett. You got versatility because on the inside you can be a looper, on the edge they can penetrate. This defensive line has been ferocious all throughout the season, and especially in recent weeks, harassing the opposing quarterback. Quality hustle from the O-line, getting back on it.
Shoot, yeah, it looked like that ball was going to come out. Brandon Henderson, the offensive lineman, was able to jump on it. So a low snap on the punt. Pretty good job fielding it there by Keelan Crimmins. And Illinois not able to down that in the field. The play bounces through the end zone for a touchback, and we head down to the field with Danny Rogers.
On that interception play, quarterback Luke Altmaier wasn't hurried to get off the field because he didn't think it was an INT. Then he got to the sideline, almost ripped his iPad out of his assistant quarterback's hands to make sure that he could see the replay. As soon as he saw that thing, he hurried back onto the field, but now he comes here back to the bench. Let's see what they can muster up on that second drive.
Now, what are the benefits of having the video there on the iPads, right? just to make sure that your suspicions were confirmed. No interception. He didn't need the review. He knew it. And so Carter Smith, the true freshman quarterback from Florida, will give it to Trutch Kekahuna on an end around, and that ball came out. Was recovered by Tucker Ashcraft, the tight end, who's back in the lineup after missing most of the season with an injury. So Kekahuna, who's chased down by Gabe Akis, couldn't quite get him, but Bailey comes up and strips that thing. He didn't know where the ball was. There's a couple of yards behind him.
Bailey got his fist right on the football. Good hustle from Wisconsin getting it back.
All right, so a gain of 6 and a 2nd and 4 for Carter Smith. Gonna take to the air, and protection breaks down, and he goes down, sacked by Tomiwa Durajaye. And so that'll set them back, a loss of 7 as it brings up 3rd down. And take a look at Carter Smith, just his 3rd game, came in last time Wisconsin was home for the injured Danny O'Neal, left in the first quarter with an Achilles injury. Played the rest of that game, now making his 2nd start, Ant.
It was only about a month ago he was still just running the scout team plays for this football program. Now, because of injury, has quickly ascended to become the starter for the 2nd consecutive week.
Was the first true freshman to start at quarterback for the Badgers since 1991, last week at Indiana. Nice completion on 3rd down, and he's going to get right to the 30-yard line, which looks like all they need to get the 1st down. That is Eugene Hilton Jr. and a gain of 11. Big-time strike by the freshman.
And standing in the pocket to deliver it. There's growth that we're seeing. The more repetitions you get, and Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator here for the Badgers, just appreciating the additional comfort that comes with more muscle memory from the time on task.
Freshman to freshman connection there on 3rd and long. Eugene Hilton, son of former NFL receiver T.Y. Hilton.
All right.
And it's Darion Dupree, and Dupree is a nice gain. Going to go just gain of 9 just inside the 40-yard line.
Jeff Grimes upstairs, he's the play caller. And for him, this offense has had to evolve so much throughout the season with now 4 different starting quarterbacks, variety of levels of experience, in-game action. Grimes' first year himself with this program and trying to install his offensive system.
Completely different than the offense he was really installing for Billy Edwards, who was the week 1 starter for these Wisconsin Badgers. Carter Smith now the 4th quarterback to start this season for Wisconsin, and he takes that one out of bounds for a gain. As you get a look at the Badgers offense here, this offensive line making its 4th start together here, which is an improvement.
Right. Davis Heinsohn on the inside. He was the starting left tackle to open up the season. And at the wide receiver, running back spots, Vinny Anthony. He's one of the players who's got great potential to make plays, to gain chunk yards in the open field for Wisconsin.
7 different offensive line combinations going into the Washington game last just 2 weeks ago. And now this is the 4th game this group has played together. Feels like they're starting to gel a little bit. So they got a big 3rd down here. And they're going to run it on 3rd down, and they're going to pick up the 1st down with Darion Dupree just north of the 40-yard line. And a fresh set of downs for this Badgers offense.
Emerson Mandel ends up coming across the formation. This motion really tests the eye discipline of the linebackers. And so when you see Vinny Anthony coming in one direction, the big offensive line with the kick-out block there, getting up to the 2nd level, when it's that clean, it really makes it a comfortable run for the running back.
All right, so a fresh set of downs here. In about the last month of games, 3rd down had been a real problem for Wisconsin. They've already converted, though, their first 2. And they'll get 3 yards here on this 1st down carry by Darion Dupree, who just returned to the lineup in Wisconsin's last home action against Washington. He had missed the previous 2 games with a knee injury.
Timeout. Offensive player help.
All right, looking at an Illini defense right now that has been opportunistic and has been playing some pretty good ball the last couple of weeks following their loss to Washington.
James Thompson, one of several players making his return to Madison, former Wisconsin Badger, and Dylan Rosiak, the general at the second level of the defense. And Matthew Bailey will have a very unique role in his alignment tonight on the back end.
Coach Henry trying to make him that free hitter in a Wisconsin run game that has been prevalent in these last couple of weeks with Carter Smith, Kahuna on the reception there, but his pass game has been pretty effective early on here for Wisconsin. Gain of 6 there.
Throwing the ball with authority here early, Rhett, and arm strength certainly not a problem for Carter Smith, but just the time on task with the varsity receivers. That enhances rhythm and confidence you can throw it with from inside the pocket. Illinois came into this game, I think when you look at the previous film, perhaps anticipating they would see a staunch running version of Carter Smith, but he's throwing the ball well.
Got an I formation in the backfield. They're going to give it to the fullback, Jackson Aker, and he pushes forward across midfield and the line to gain. And so Wisconsin 3 for 3 on third downs to open this ball game.
They're staying ahead of the chains, which makes such a difference because they're not necessarily situated to be able to operate on third and long, but when you're manageable, they don't mind running the football, especially when you've got less than a yard to go. They'll bang it behind that big offensive line.
This will be the 10th play of the drive. And so now first play from scrimmage from Illinois territory. Carter Smith to the air once again, got it complete. It's Lance Mason, the tight end, who had the only touchdown grab of the game last week in Bloomington, a gain of 17, and this Wisconsin offense continues to march.
Operating against the grain, the entire defensive front will go one direction. It ends up allowing a nice window for Carter Smith. Fakes the pitch, and then these are some of the passes that he was missing last week. Having open receivers up the sideline, but throwing with more comfort right now in his second start.
Carter Smith perfect through the air thus far, 3 of 3, 34 yards. And now a first down carry for Dupree, and he will continue to keep this offense on schedule. That first down run will go for 4.
3 for 3 passing early in the game for Carter Smith, and as surprising as anything, only 2 rushing attempts. Really anticipated that they would utilize his legs to get things going here early, but the offensive line for the Badgers, I talked about Illinois gelling a bit up front. Wouldn't necessarily say the same for Wisconsin up front here in recent weeks, but that continuity matters.
Kahuna was lined up in the backfield. They're going to send him out. They wanted to get him, looked like on a route, but instead it's Mason coming underneath and comes up with the grab and the first down. But looked like they wanted Kahuna there coming out of the backfield on a kind of pseudo wheel route.
But initially, as the coverages run off, you see the time that Carter Smith has to evaluate the entire field. Illinois covers it up well on the back end, but then that leap from the wide side of the field by the tight end position, Lance Mason able to make the reception. Really nice comfort we're watching right now from the Badgers quarterback.
Second catch of the drive for Mason, both of them going for first downs. Jackson Aker, fullback tight end, kind of do it all, everything in the backfield with Carter Smith. Design QB run there, and Illinois is able to stuff that up after a gain of 2.
And eye candy is one of the words I like to use just as far as how Wisconsin's offense especially tests the eye discipline of the opposing defense, because there's so much motion that happens both pre-snap and post-snap. You're trying to figure out who's got the football, and especially when that mesh point from the quarterback to the running back, when Carter Smith rides that mesh a little bit, it can suck the defense in.
Aker still in the game with the tight end Mason. He's now into the backfield with Darion Dupree in the pistol behind Smith. And Carter Smith's going to take this one down. Had some man coverage there. Got a back turn to him, and he took it. Going to go for a first down inside the 10-yard line. Gain of 10 for the freshman quarterback.
They caught the Illini in man coverage, and so as the mesh point is shown, when Carter Smith comes out, the defense's back is turned to him. So now he's also got a puller out in front. There's an option here to deliver the football, but because he's a ball carrier, now you get Lance Mason to just become a lead blocker, and it's an easy lane for Smith to move the chains.
Jeff Grimes dialing up a terrific drive here in this opening possession for the Wisconsin offense, and it's another design run for Carter Smith, trying to follow his blockers close to the 5-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 6, be a gain of 2.
This is the area of the field, Brett, where as a true freshman, only 2 starts in, because of the confines of the red zone, you really have to be careful with the football.
Wisconsin just 10 first quarter points so far this season. 16th play of the drive coming here.
But this is where defensively, especially at the second and third level for Illinois, all the different motions and shifts, they don't necessarily have to overreact to them in space as quickly.
Gonna hand. Oh, got a little play action. Another one of that eye candy, and it's Vinny Anthony who will take the rock and take it for 6. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
The ball fake at the mesh threatens him vertically, and then horizontally you get to pitch on the reverse. To one of the fastest playmakers the Badgers have access to.
So Nathaniel Vakos on for the extra point. He puts it through. And Wisconsin, with their 17th points in a first quarter so far this season, they do it with a little trickery to Vinny Anthony. First scoring drive to open either half since a game against Michigan. Up 7-0. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Graduate by Hilton. Spirited stays in your favorite college towns. And by Auto Owners Insurance. Boy, what a day here at Camp Randall Stadium with the state championships. Actually went on Thursday and Friday. The Division I champs, biggest classification in the state, goes to Arrowhead in a dramatic game there. A lot of fun to see some of the high school football fun. Touchback on the kick following the Vinny Anthony touchdown. And we've got the Illini offense looking for an answer when we come back here to Camp Randall. All right, Wisconsin up 7-0 here at Camp Randall. Tonight's Impact Players sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. Looking at a couple of key matchups here, Anthony.
Discipline will be necessary for both defenses. Dylan Rosiak certainly capable of that. He'll have to watch Jackson Aker when the Badgers are on offense. When Illini on offense, Josh Kreutz on the inside, matched up against JVR Suggs, one of the most powerful interior defensive linemen in the Big Ten.
So second drive of the night for Luke Altmaier. Spent the last 9 minutes and 30 seconds of game time on the bench watching a 16-play, 80-yard Wisconsin drive that ended in a Vinny Anthony 6-yard touchdown run. And so Luke Altmaier will have a little QB keeper on the read option, and around the edge he goes. Knocked out of bounds by Mason Posa. So Altmaier showing off a little bit of that athleticism that we talked about at the top of the show there, Ant.
Well, like Brett Bielema was curious if a flag would have been necessary there, but Altmaier, he's got the speed to turn the corner. There's no doubt about that. And Mason Posa, when that freshman shows up, man, he shows up in a bad mood.
That's right. Mike Tressel of DC saying, yeah, no question Mason Posa shows up with some bad intentions to the ball carrier. Caden Fagan in the ball game at the running back spot for Illinois. Altmaier, a little quick play action, but that ball nearly picked off by Ricardo Hallman. Second near interception for the Badgers.
These are the types of moments as we get through the game here that Wisconsin will look back. They'll say we need to take advantage of these. Altmaier just sails the pass a little bit late. And we're not accustomed to seeing Luke Altmaier be late on his throws, but he's feeling the pressure from this Wisconsin pass rush a bit more.
14 sacks over the last 3 games for the Wisconsin defense, and only Texas and UNC have had more among Power 4 teams the last couple of weeks. And Altmaier again kind of felt a little pressure there and tried to take off, but that hole closed up quickly. Brought down by Corey Walker for the Badgers.
For the edge defenders of Wisconsin, Walker's the biggest one they have, 290 pounds. And that was a called QB draw. They don't mind him delaying a bit before trying to take off inside when they call that inside QB run.
Walker, a fifth-year senior from Normal, Illinois, so a little extra in this game for 92 in red. Third down for Luke Altmaier. And we've got a stoppage.
This is the end of the...
That's the end of the first quarter. Illinois with a 3rd and long on their second possession when we come back to Madison. All right, back here in Madison where this Wisconsin defense has been on a roll. Going back to that game against Oregon in Eugene, kept the Ducks well under their season averages in yards and points. Same goes for the last time they were here at Camp Randall and that upset win over a ranked Washington team. And then last week, kept the Hoosiers, one of the hottest offenses in the country, under their season averages as well. Have held their last 3 opponents under the season average for rushing yards in particular. And they have been getting after the passer as well. Wisconsin, 5 or more sacks in each of the last 2 weeks and would love to pin their ears back here on a 3rd and long. Altmaier, pretty good protection, gonna go over the middle and got it complete. Hudson Clement, who's been coming on as a go-to guy for Luke Altmaier with a big catch into Wisconsin territory, gain of 15.
We'll see eventually Mason Posa loops around and just coming into the right side of your screen, it's Hudson Clement. Now the Illini looking to go some tempo.
Wisconsin, first charged. Immediate timeout.
All right, so Wisconsin will call the timeout here. And for Illinois, boy, it looked like a little bit out of sorts, a little bit out of the rhythm, but they're figuring it out here. Now into Badger territory, and we're back to Madison with the Badgers up 7-0.
Back here at Camp Randall Stadium, let's take a look at that 3rd down conversion from the Illini offense. And Hudson Clement, we referenced how he's been emerging here as of late. As Luke Altmaier is preparing to throw the football, Clement hasn't even appeared in the void in that zone defense from the Badgers yet, but there's a trust that's developed over the last month between Altmaier and Clement. It was one of the more ballyhoo playmakers that the Illini were able to get in the transfer portal, and it's really starting to pay dividends.
Looked like there was maybe some eye manipulation there too with the safety Matt Young. And Altmaier was able to fire it into Clement, looking to take to the air again. A little pressure from behind, able to get it off. Got it, first touch for Hank Beatty. And so Beatty out of bounds, and was a decent game there. We'll get it to Dave Revson in Chicago for a studio update.
What up, Dave?
What's going on, fellas? Wanted to catch you up on what's happening in State College, where Penn State is dominating the Huskers early. Nicholas Singleton, his 52nd career touchdown, one shy of Saquon Barkley's school record, 17-3 Nittany Lions.
Dave, thanks very much. 10-yard gain there for Beatty, and a fresh set of downs now for Altmaier. And wanted to go back to Colin Dixon, able to spin out of a potential sack, and Altmaier will run it down just north of the 20-yard line. Another first down for Illinois. Aaron Witt in on the tackle, gain of 14.
I've been here before, Rhett, where you think you've got a quarterback prepared for a sack, and then somehow they're able to evade you. I mean, it was a great rush from Mason Reiger, and somehow with that spin move, and it looked like Luke Altmaier couldn't even see him coming at first, spins away and moves the sticks for Illinois.
Reiger's been putting pressure on quarterbacks all year. This is going to be a run from Caden Fagan. 255-pound back, pushes forward for a gain of 3.
We're likely to see a lot of that, what we saw in the previous play, the avoidance from Luke Altmaier. And as we've discussed, he's capable of it, but this pass rush from the Badgers is so talented. And earlier in the season, Illinois was really struggling with pass protection. They were one of the most sacked teams in the Big Ten Conference. Now, that's come down over the last couple of weeks as they gelled and protected the QB better. But this is one of the more talented defensive fronts they faced.
Fagan in motion with Beatty also in the backfield. Looks like that's where Altmaier wanted to go. Eventually does get a little bit of a block from Fagan. And Beatty will go out of bounds after a short gain. We'll give him 2.
Sometimes it's just difficult to tell. Is it window dressing?
Right.
Or is there legitimately going to be something you have to honor on the exterior? And because you have both edges that are coming after the quarterback, now the linebacker position is just waiting, wondering whether or not Luke Altmaier is going to evacuate the pocket in either direction.
Clever play design there for offensive coordinator Barry Lunney to get the 255-pound Fagan maybe out in front as a blocker for Beatty. And now a 3rd down. Altmaier just kind of sidearms that one. Going to be close. Gets it to his tight end Cole Rusk, and we've got flags out. So we'll check on those and see if that spot would give him a 1st down. Oh, the pass interference looks like it's going to go against Illinois. Cole Knippel seeing how Luke Fickell wants to handle this.
Pass interference. Offense, number 14 with a push-off. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. 3rd down.
So that a massive penalty there on the tight end Rusk, who gets called for the push-off.
6'5", 250. Rusk here in the wing position, and they like to do these switch release sort of routes where one receiver goes over the top. But yes, he definitely extends his hands, pushes away from Jameer Latimer. Proper call from the officials, and Altmaier doesn't mind adjusting that arm slot to fit it through.
So this is the definition of 3rd and long.
I would agree with that, yes, that's proper assessment.
We'll go 3rd and 19 to be exact. Gonna be close on field goal range too, so see if that's where Barry Lunney tries to go here to just get a couple of yards, and they do. They go right back to Cole Rusk, and he gets more than a couple. And we'll pull them back for a gain of 12. So a much more manageable field goal opportunity coming up for David Olano.
Well, that's all they wanted to accomplish there. I mean, you never know if you get quality run after catch, maybe you move the chains, but to at least make it a more than manageable field goal for a place kicker in David Olano, they've got all the confidence in the world in.
He's been so good this year, 14 of 16 so far this season. And this will be a 37-yard field goal. Perfect from this range this year. Which, of course, is the kiss of death.
I think that's on us. Did we take credit for that, the announcer jinx? Did we do that?
Olano unable to put it through. We'll let the people decide on that one, Andrew.
I'm sure they will.
A lot for Wisconsin to celebrate early in this game, up 7-0.
Misdirection and window dressing has the Illini on their heels right now. All this ball handling. Resemblance of an and one mixtape, because you don't know who's got the rock, and by the time you figure it out, Illinois has been behind the 8 ball the entire way, and this 8 ball, we call him Vinny Tony, getting into the paint for the Badgers.
Well, Carter Smith does have a baseball background. He's kind of got middle infielder hands right now with what he's been asked to do in terms of the ball handling with this Wisconsin offense as we head down to the field with Danny Rogers.
After the Badgers' last touchdown, the O-line hurried over to the bench, and when O-line coach A.J. Vlasek joined him, the O-line gave him the silent treatment. Think of the scenario in baseball when the dugout acts like they didn't see the rookie's homer, and then they finally gave in. The entire O-line erupted, and Coach Vlasek really emphasized that drive being 16 plays and being able to move the sticks on 3rd down.
Oh, that's awesome. Great eye down there, Danny. I love that little baseball theme. We had a great one at Wrigley, by the way, earlier today here on Big Ten Network with Northwestern coming up with a last-second win over Minnesota. By the way, Casey Robach, who is a former NFL offensive lineman, of course, played his college football here in as the assistant offensive line coach. Yeah. Feels like this group is really starting to kind of find a rhythm and as Danny mentioned, have a little fun with it, too. So here's Carter Smith on a big 3rd down, and he sees some green in front. Going to try to take it, but a tremendous tackle by Dylan Rosiak, the middle linebacker, and he's going to keep him just shy of the line to gain.
They call Rosiak the heartbeat of the defense for a reason. He reads it, diagnoses it, makes that one-on-one tackle against the extremely athletic Carter Smith. I like the decision. Carter Smith, protect the football. No need to put it in harm's way. Trust your legs. And as long as he's decisive, I would imagine Jeff Grimes likes the call he made too.
Wherever your heart goes, your mind will follow. Word of the week this week was passion, according to Aaron Henry for his defense, and said Rosiak is the guy who epitomizes it. And a big-time tackle there to force the punt from Sean West. Hank Beatty back to receive inside his own 20. Pushed it way back, but got a chance to return this one. Got some blocks out in front, and Hank Beatty still on his feet. Beatty cutting back inside across the 35, stays in bounds. Eventually knocked out by the long snapper, Nick Levy. So a terrific return for Hank Beatty after the big third down stop from Dylan Rosiak, the Illini, back out on offense. Right now, secure an early Black Friday deal with promo code SAVINGS25 and get 6 months of Big Ten Plus for just $4.99 a month to access hundreds more events across the Big Ten. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to BigTenPlus.com and make sure you enter SAVINGS25 when selecting a monthly pass at checkout to take advantage of this offer. Well, been a bit of a slow start for the Illini offense. Last possession out did get into Wisconsin territory, had to settle for a field goal attempt, which was missed by David Alano. So third possession now for Luke Altmaier, and it starts with some really good field position from their own 45 after a 28-yard punt return by Hank Beatty, although this first down run by Khalil Valentine is closed up quickly by the senior Darrell Peterson.
It's a delicate balance for Barry Lunny on offense because they respect the run so much, they want to stick with it, while at the same time keep hammering it into the teeth of this Wisconsin defense, and it's not lending you results. Then there's a balance for you on how you go about getting this offense out of second gear.
Well, you want to talk about a player who has pride in this place here at Wisconsin. It is Darrell Peterson. He spent his whole career here in Madison, a big-time player, and now it's 17 on the other side for Illinois, coming up with a big-time play. Colin Dixon will move that ball down inside the 30-yard line on that throw from Altmaier.
It's a deep Badgers defensive front, but the starters aren't in, and so you see the pocket looks much more clean for Luke Altmaier right now. Of course, only 1 foot necessary in college football. Colin Dixon, he's had a few acrobatic grabs in his day.
24-yard grab for Dixon. Altmaier on first down, got some heavy pressure, and another near interception. Brandon Lane almost comes down with that batted pass.
But it saved a big gain that would have been there as Valentine leaks out of the backfield. He was alone for just a moment. Luke Altmaier looked the defense off briefly. If that pass didn't get batted by Peterson, they're looking at least a first down, perhaps even more than that for Valentine.
And again on Peterson, said he takes such pride in what he's done at this place. Said he wanted to take it upon himself to be the same person each and every day, despite some of the struggles they've had this season, and he's certainly done that. Big pass deflection there, near interception. Now on second down, they'll run it with Khalil Valentine. Good run. Go for 9 yards right there, brought down by Matt Young, the safety.
The way the Badgers have been getting after the quarterback in the game so far. You see in the wins for the Illini, they've allowed 1.3 sacks per game. In their losses, 3.7. They're facing, like I mentioned, the most talented defensive front, one of them that they faced this season.
That's tonight's advanced stats, sponsored by IFS.AI. Sacks have been a bit of an issue for the Illini offensive line, especially in their losses. 2 for 4 on third down, third and short. Carry goes to Jordan Anderson, the tight end. His second carry of the season, but they're gonna move it, so he gets the first down. Again, another something for that Wisconsin defense to try to comprehend with all the things that Illinois can throw at you.
Barry Lunny, who we were just looking at a moment ago, he loves to give the defense something to think about. But Ben Barton, they like to spend too much time thinking. He just hits people.
Little RPO slide run looked like to Cole Rusk, the tight end, and that'll pick up about 8 yards before he gets popped out of bounds by Deani Hill, the corner.
But one of the things you have to do as a wideout in this offense, even if you're not the one getting the football, look at the work that Hank Beatty puts in for his tight end, Cole Rusk. Normally, Rusk would be the one making sure the smaller guys, the other pass catchers, are having that edge. They can get to the defense there. Beatty is the one setting the edge, allowing his teammate to out-leverage the Badgers defense.
Second and short now for this Illini offense here in the red zone, trying to put some points on the board. And it's Luke Altmaier on the keeper. Altmaier will run into the end zone. The Illini on the board on a 12-yard touchdown run.
One of the tendency breakers for Illinois, because frequently you see the running back motion to offset late. They love to give him the ball there, but here just a mesh point read from Altmaier. He knew he was going to have the edge, and once he got there, hit another gear to put it in the paint.
Got a nice block downfield as well as Altmaier goes in untouched. David Alano, extra point is good. And we are square at 7. Talked about Altmaier's athleticism. He can take it down and run it, and now has this game square at 7. The Nittany Lions collide with the Scarlet Knights in the regular season finale next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Rutgers ran into the buzzsaw that is Ohio State today, losing 42-9. Right now, Penn State up 23-3 at the half on Nebraska. Game that certainly has a different feel than maybe we thought it might at the beginning of this season for Penn State.
I don't know what kind of saw is bigger than a buzzsaw, but I'll go with that for the Buckeyes.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And we got a touchback on that kick, and we'll go to Dave Revson in Chicago for a studio update.
Yeah, Rhett, and want to update you on that game in Happy Valley. It's been all Nittany Lions. Nick Singleton is now tied Saquon Barkley on the Penn State career touchdown list with 43. His second of the game there. They've just gone to the half. 23-3, Nittany Lions.
Dave, thanks very much. The consistency from Nebraska has been a tough one to capture for Matt Rule this year, especially with Dylan Raiola out for the season with the injury. Got a full house backfield for Wisconsin right now. Grover Bortolini is in. Jackson Aker gets the carry, and Aker will go for a first down to open this drive successfully for the Badgers.
1st and 10 Wisconsin.
We expect Jackson Aker, who's filled so many different roles for this offense, but now he'll have to be more of a true running back, a little more of a ball carrier in tonight's game. He's been a tight end. He's been a fullback featured in that position and been willing to do everything they've asked. But with the injuries the Badgers have had in the backfield, now he'll have to be a real playmaker with the ball in his hands.
Carter Smith, little pressure early, tries to get out of it. He will initially, but cannot escape the sack from Miles Scott. Such a great story. Scott has been a former receiver, converted to DB, and now become a mainstay on that Illini defense.
We know Brett Bielema doesn't mind guys switching positions, moving around, giving them that opportunity for development. He started that, of course, when he was the head coach here at Wisconsin, moving guys around to different spots, finding them a home where they can flourish. 3
Big Ten titles, leading to 3 Rose Bowl appearances in his time as the head coach here at Wisconsin. Now the 35 wins you mentioned at Illinois, most by any Illini head coach in their first 5 seasons. Knows how to build consistency. As Trechke Kahuna bounces off a tackler and has a nice gain on 2nd down. Our coaching profile sponsored by Discover. Big Ten Coach of the Year in 2006. What a run that was. 12-1. The 3 straight Big Ten titles, and well, he's got some of the magic from those seasons with him on this staff. Of course, defensive coordinator Aaron Henry for the Illini. How about James White, who was inducted into the Wisconsin Athletics Hall of Fame here just earlier this year, and has accepted a high school coaching job, so won't be with Bielema long on that Illini staff, but has been a nice boost for those running backs for sure. So Carter Smith here on 3rd down, gonna get stopped and bottled up a yard shy. Gonna bring up 4th down. You think Luke Fickell gets a little aggressive here?
I doubt it. I wouldn't if I were him. But if you can switch the field and really give your team a chance to pin the Illini offense. I know, I get it, Badgers fans. You can hear the reaction right now in the stadium. Of course, it would have been great to convert that 3rd and short. But if you don't convert 4th and short, you're giving the opponent the football in plus territory.
So Luke Fickell does not succumb to the peer pressure from the fans here inside Camp Randall. Sends Sean West out for his second punt of the game. First one went 58 yards. Hank Beatty back deep to receive. And that one bounces into the end zone. And we'll see the Illini offense in just 15 seconds. Two minutes, 49 seconds left in this first halftime ball game at 7, and the Badgers have been bringing the pressure.
There's a lot of fight in this football team. We've seen it throughout the season, and it's a defensive front that's been beating blocks all throughout the year. Big investment over the offseason. And if nothing else has paid off for Wisconsin this season, the way those big guys have hit blocks and gotten after the opposing quarterback has paid dividends.
Aiden Lawfrey in at running back for the first time today, and he will get this carry. Lawfrey, hard run, will go for about 2 yards. He was cleared medically last week, but Coach Bielema didn't have the need to really use him with the way that Khalil Valentine and Caden Fagan were rolling, but now giving Lawfrey, who's been a productive player for the Illini run game, some opportunities here late first half.
An all-purpose talent. Been banged up a bit this season. Caden Fagan's returning from hip surgery. And so they've had various running backs who haven't been at full strength, but starting to get that backfield really cooking. 200-yard game after 200-yard game here recently.
Second down for Altmaier. Quick throw gets it out. Hank Beatty right at the sticks. And it looks like they will mark it right at the 30. As we hit the 2-minute timeout with Hank Beatty, a little bit slow to rise after making that reception. So we'll check on Beatty and check the spot of that reception when we return. Final 2 minutes of the first half coming up here with the score tied at 7. Last play was a first down reception by Hank Beatty, the Illini leading receiver, resulted in a trip to the medical tent after this hit from Deani Hill. Anthony looked to kind of catch him right in the neck.
Physical tackle, yeah, just kind of clubbed down at him a little bit. Beatty stayed on the ground for a moment. Good to see that he was able to get up and walk off under his own power in the injury tent now.
Catch did result in an Illini first down, so a fresh set of downs from their own 30. Illini does have all 3 timeouts. Been a nice second quarter here. 123 yards thus far as Lawfrey gets another carry, makes one miss, and Lawfrey gets brought down by Mason Posa. Gain of 5. We'll see if the Illini start to move a little bit quicker here.
Certainly going some tempo right now with Altmaier back over the football.
Second down, good protection for Altmaier. Oh! Another one that nearly gets into the hands of a Wisconsin defender off of that deflection. Did they mark that incomplete, or was it actually caught by the Wisconsin or by the Illini offensive line? It was incomplete.
It was incomplete. Between the 2 defensive lines, it's been Illinois' D-line that's had more pass deflections here recently, but as Ben Barton came around as the looper, just stuck that big left paw up in the air to knock it down.
JVR Suggs was close to a potential big man interception. Now a big third down for the Illini. Got some pressure. Illini got it complete from Altmaier. We do have a flag down. Hudson Clement comes up with the reception in Wisconsin territory. That came down in the area of holding, and Luke Altmaier does not like the potential call.
Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
Called that one on J.C. Davis at the left tackle. He's a really talented individual, but he's facing a really talented pass rusher right now in Mason Reiger. It's one of the things Reiger does really well. He rushes with a good flat back, and so for some of the taller offensive tackles he rushes against, it's really difficult to stay down there and be able to block with the leverage. That time, Davis had to reach out and grab.
Reiger, one of the seniors here at Wisconsin, honored on senior day. And now a 3rd and long for Altmaier as he looks to maybe get an adjustment on the signal from the sideline.
Also allowing the clock to tick down.
And we've got a stoppage here.
Timeout, Illinois. First charge of the half.
So Illinois decides
seconds.
to call the timeout, and we'll be right back here to Madison. Coming up at the half, we're going to send it to Dave Redson, Howard Griffith, and Marcel Reese for the halftime report, sponsored by Copilot on Windows 11.
Huge 3rd down for Luke Fickell's defense. You think about the punt and pin strategy he attempted to utilize there. Ended up with the touchback, but if they can hold on 3rd down, that'll pay off the decision.
More pressure from Reiger. Gets to Luke Altmaier. Mason Reiger with his 5th sack of the season, and a big one for this Badger defense.
Timeout, Wisconsin. Second charge, 30 seconds.
The first step from Mason Reiger is absolutely lethal. Watch the way he flies out of his stance. That 4-point stance like a track sprinter. Hitting up the field, chops down. The outside hand and then the burst to finish. At Luke Altmaier in the pocket. It's an acquisition they had in the transfer portal. You think about the interior defensive line. Some of these edge rushers here as well. This is a D-line that has been balling out of control.
Defensive coordinator Mike Tressel called Mason Reiger the definition of a portal win. Usually you have to get a new guy to kind of adjust themselves to the culture that's already been established. Said that Reiger brought his culture to this Badgers team, and that punt is shanked. Bounces at the 48, and that's where it is downed by the long snapper Lane Hansen. Just a 31-yard punt, and the Badgers with fantastic field position here in the final 50 seconds.
So just going back to that decision from Luke Fickell. He was around his own minus 40-yard line. Fans in the stadium wanted him to go for the 4th and short, decided not to. Your punt didn't get the pin, but his defense holding. Now he and his offense in plus territory with just under a minute and a timeout remaining to see if they can try to put some points on the board. Place kicking has been a bit of an issue.
That's right.
For Wisconsin here this season, but there could be a decision to make if it's a long field goal try to maybe go with Gavin Long.
He was good from 60 in warmups. Nathaniel Vakos. Hunter Simmons is in at quarterback here in these final 50 seconds. He's been more of the natural passer for the Badgers. We did see that when we were last here in that game against Washington. He came in the 2-minute situation, 12-yard gain there on 1st down.
But it makes all the sense in the world. You've got a true freshman, he's made a couple of starts. You've seen some nice things from Carter Smith tonight, but the more capable quarterback as a passer, and perhaps if they end up going hurry up, is certainly Hunter Simmons.
He was saying Nathaniel Vakos missed his only attempt last week at Indiana. Looked pretty good in warmups when we were down on the field earlier. Simmons, empty backfield. Got it complete to Eugene Hilton. That ball might have bounced around a little bit, but Hilton able to reel that thing in, and they'll go tempo now, Ant.
Aaron Henry, the Illini defensive coordinator, he did tell us he expected to see both Wisconsin QBs.
Pretty good protection that eventually breaks down because of Gabe Akis bearing down on Simmons. That was the first incompletion for the Badgers this entire game.
There hasn't been a lot of attack, not much verticality to the passing attack for Wisconsin tonight, but it's been efficient. And even that decision from Hunter Simmons to decide not to put the football in harm's way.
And you don't have to waste that final timeout.
Exactly.
Still got that in the back pocket to try a field goal here if you can't convert on a 3rd and 5, which comes up now for Hunter Simmons. Quarterbacks for Wisconsin combined 7 for 8 so far in this game. Simmons with pressure right up the middle, ends up hitting the official as he was looking again for Eugene Hilton. Falls incomplete.
And he had him as well. They had the drag coming across the formation. It was open for Simmons. looked a little bit hesitant to deliver it. And when you got Gabe Akis bearing down on you, I suppose that could cause a bit of hesitancy.
Luke Fickell told us his line of comfortability for field goal is the snap from the 35, so well within Nathaniel Vacos' range here. 47-yard attempt. And Vacos puts that right down the pipes. And Wisconsin, on the 47-yard field goal attempt, takes a 10-7 lead in the final seconds for Camp Randall. Wisconsin up 10-7 on a new season-long 47-yard field goal by Nathaniel Vacos. First time scoring points in the first and second quarter in the same game. They haven't scored 14 points since week 2, which is the last time that they had a halftime lead, and we'll try to preserve that here. That kick goes into the end zone for another touchback. See how aggressive Brett Bielema wants to get here in the final 14 ticks with Luke Altmaier.
It was a fantastic response that Wisconsin had in the second quarter. The game's been back and forth, but we've certainly been reminding people on the Big Ten Network throughout the season. This is a Wisconsin squad that's continued to battle week in and week out. You've seen the improvements. They were toe-to-toe with Indiana at the half of last week's game as well. Certainly the last time they played at home, you were here on the call when they had the upset over a ranked Wisconsin squad.
Yeah, ranked Washington squad. Yeah, played against Damon Williams really well in that game. Mason Posa with a big fourth down stop at the end to preserve a victory. Would love to find another spark amidst some of the struggles this season again. And Khalil Valentine will take the handoff. Stop for no gain. And that is how the first half will come to a close. Wisconsin up 10-7. Their first halftime lead since week 2. They are 2-0 when leading at the half. Been playing pretty well here in the first 30 minutes, and we'll look to find some more of that momentum as you start, and we'll receive the kick to begin the second half. So opportunity to perform well in the middle 8 section of the game as we go down to Danny Rogers with Coach Brett Bielema.
Coach, your defense just went into a 1-minute drill and saw a new quarterback for Wisconsin. How would you assess how your defense just managed that?
You know, the first drive was obviously gave up too many yards, but they rose up a couple times there and got bad field position, just give up a field goal. But offensively, we got to calm down, play our game, don't play down to theirs. We got to do a better job of converting, especially in the red zone.
Luke Altmaier, they're doing their best to make him uncomfortable. What's your message to him?
Yeah, he's getting some pressure on the right edge. We got to do a better job. 22 is a good player. Got to make sure we secure our edges and give Luke time to work in the pocket.
Thanks, Coach.
Danny, Coach, thanks very much. And coming up after a quick break, we're going to send it to Dave and the gang for the halftime report, sponsored by Copilot on Windows 11. Wisconsin defensive lineman Ben Barton, a lifer here in the state of Wisconsin, played his high school ball here, now one of 31 seniors honored as part of the Senior Day festivities, getting ready for his final 30 minutes of football at Camp Randall Stadium. As you get your halftime report card, sponsored by Graduate by Hilton. And it's been pretty even in terms of offensive production, but the big difference here, as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth, Rhett Lewis, Anthony Herron, Danny Rogers down on the field, has been the pressure from the Wisconsin defense. It has been almost relentless against Luke Altmaier.
And they've just used all-out effort, all-out energy, and everyone with their hand in the dirt has been able to impact the game for this Badgers front seven. The way they've been getting it done is to bring it from all angles and to continue to do it, to pursue Luke Altmaier as he's looked to extend the play over and over again. Mason Riger has been a part of it. Daryl Peterson has been a part of it. JVR Suggs has been attacking from the middle, and when you can do that and continue to work, it makes it for a long night for the opposing QB.
Mason Riger, second only to Mikhail Kamara and Dennis Sutton in terms of pressures amongst Big Ten defenders. Has been really good. Cade Iacomelli fielding the second half kickoff and a nice return out just past the 35-yard line. will set this Wisconsin offense up as we head down to Danny Rogers.
Head coach Luke Fickell telling me Carter Smith will be their quarterback moving forward, but they will go to Hunter Simmons in special situations. They've done that once before in a red zone situation where they need passing yards from their quarterback. And then in terms of the defense, Coach Fickell told me his defensive front is getting after Illinois' Luke Altmaier. They've moved him off their spot. That's why they've been able to come up with 2 sacks. What he wants to see them do a little bit better, not give Altmaier any open lanes here in the second half.
And we do see Carter Smith behind center to open this half. Danny, thanks very much. Handoff goes to Darion Dupree. Just 4 carries in the first half. His 5th will go for almost 2 yards on first down. Mark just shy of the 35-yard line. The run game has been mostly keyed by Carter Smith.
We mentioned earlier, Rhett, the way that the running back position has been banged up throughout the year for Wisconsin. And so for Darion Dupree, not even completely certain he's fully at 100%, but a very elusive playmaker out of the Chicago area. He's having to carry the load for them tonight.
Part of a 3 running back recruiting class for Luke Fickell that included Gideon Atuka, who had been the lead back the last couple of weeks, but suffered the injury last week against Indiana, out today. Gabe Akis, the big-time edge rusher, coming up with the stop there on second down. Another minimal gain will give him 2, and so it'll bring up a 3rd down here for Wisconsin. They started the game 3 for 3 on 3rd downs, but have been 0 for 3 since.
On the right side of the offensive line, Wisconsin did get some quality movement, but Akis was able to just close and collapse the edge to make the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Pressure, Gabe Akis off the blind side of Carter Smith. Strip sack. Let's see who comes up with that loose ball. And it looks like Wisconsin, well, that's an Illinois defender coming up with the rock. We get an official signal here. It looks like, yeah, they're going to keep that ball with Wisconsin, but was a Illini defender, James Thompson, who of course started his career here at Wisconsin, came up with the loose ball, but the punt team is on after a 10-yard loss. Following that Gabe Akis sack is 7th of the season. Hank Beatty back deep to receive. West out to punt. And a high punt from West will force a fair catch from Beatty at the 25-yard line. So Illinois trying to return the favor in terms of the pressures. Strip sack. Well, that ball was bouncing around, but it looked like Carter Smith was just able to recover it. Illinois back out on offense next. Punted to Hank Beatty. And we'll bring the Illini out with Luke Altmaier running the show here for this Illinois offense. We'll have a 1st and 10 from his own 25. Got the big back, Caden Fagan, right next to him. And Altmaier on the move, trying to get out of the grasp of Sebastian Cheeks. He does, but has to just throw it away. And we were noticing on this punt return that there was maybe a little bit of extra going on there, Ant.
And as both players, Tretch Kekahuna from Wisconsin, entangled a bit. They're still snaring each other and wrapping each other around. Looked like there was a little mush to the face, if you will, bit of a stiff arm. Brett Bielema thought maybe it was a punch. He was rather upset with the officials about it. Like the headline's been trying to explain. No, it was just kind of a mush. Not a punch, but a mush.
And mush is kind of the way I described that run game. There, Caden Fagan, nothing doing on a 2nd down and 10. And so this Illini offense will begin the second half with a 3rd and long here. Stopped on the play. Ben Barton, JVR Suggs up front. Those big T tackles have been hard to deal with this Illini offense.
Yeah, it's been a long night. Josh Cruz putting in work against some of these big, bulky Badgers.
Again, a little pressure. Altmaier going to step up. Has some green in front. He's going to take it down. Gets away initially and will spin forward across the line again. Picks up 11 and a 1st down on the scramble.
And Darrell Peterson bearing down as he's actually lined up to the same side as Mason Reiger. And then in the end, as there is some penetration there on the tech stunt, here comes Luke Altmaier. He feels it from the backside, then takes off running. The defenders had eyes. They had zone eyes on Altmaier, but they know he's willing to throw it after he climbs the pocket vertically.
That was Austin Brown who had a shot at him before he got that first down yardage. Altmaier again has that one knocked down and perhaps nearly picked by Mason Posa. Altmaier had that thing kind of cocked a couple of times.
Yeah, he double clutched it.
Yeah.
And Mason Posa was right in position to make the play. He's got eyes on Altmaier the entire time. He's been a spy throughout the game at times. Here, he's in the throwing window, and Altmaier pumped it the first time, thinking he could bait the freshman in one direction, and he did. But the athleticism of Mason Posa to get back in the throwing window. Fantastic anticipation.
Posa so good for this Badgers defense the last 4 games. And Altmaier pressured and gonna go down, but it looks like he got just beyond the line of scrimmage. But boy, the pressure just keeps coming in waves for this Wisconsin defense.
And they're playing with such energy. It's not easy to do. They're certainly in football shape. Now at this point in late November, it's a chilly night. And so even though this D-line is bigger than they've ever been, 300, 310, 330 across the board, but these guys are running. They are hunting Luke Altmaier in the pocket.
So third down conversion earlier in the drive. Now another 3rd and long. Altmaier settles, connects with Caden Fagan, but brought down by Mason Posa, well short of the line to gain. It'll bring up a 4th and 4 and a punting opportunity.
When he mugs up into the A-gap, and mug meaning the linebacker walks up into the A-gap pre-snap with eyes on the quarterback, he's just showing for a moment that he may pressure. That sets up one-on-one opportunities for the other defenders who've got their hand in the dirt, because the center has to honor him for just a moment.
Great instincts from Mason Posa. That's one thing that Luke Fickell told us this week. They thought they were getting when they recruited him, and the fact that it's really showing up each and every time out has been so impressive for such a young player. Tyrell Henry will call for the fair catch, in Wisconsin up 10-7 with a chance to add to the lead. Okay, Wisconsin fans, Abbott and the Big Ten need you to get into the game and bring home the win. Join the We Give Blood competition to donate, save lives, and help your school win $1 million. Sign up today at the link below, and that is probably the best graphic we'll show all day. Look at the lives saved, and look at how close that competition is between Wisconsin and Nebraska. Of course, they've been a perennial winner of this challenge, but Wisconsin in there close. And hold a 3-point lead over Illinois right now into the 3rd quarter. Carter Smith on the run, heavily pressured, and had to throw that one away.
Linebacker Dylan Rosiek spent most of Illinois' offensive drive just now in the blue medical tent. He came out, went straight to the warm-up bike. He's been grabbing at his upper right leg, something to keep your eye out, but he's not out on the field right now.
Good eye there, Danny. James Kreutz, brother of Josh Kreutz, the center and the son of Olin Kreutz, now in there at linebacker for the Illini. And Rosiek trying to keep things warm on the sideline on the bike, as Danny mentioned. So 2nd and 10 for Carter Smith. Handoff goes to Darion Dupree. He's got a hole. Dupree, a step back. Dupree, Green in front, getting some blocks downfield. Darion Dupree will score. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Result of the play is a touchdown. Sideline warning, Wisconsin. There's no yardage penalty assessed. That's their first of the game.
84-yard touchdown run. Darion Dupree makes it a 16-7 game as we await the extra point. Dupree with that run has already eclipsed his season high watermark for rushing so far. And we'll count on Vakos to make it a 10-point lead here. Vakos comes through, longest play from scrimmage for Wisconsin.
The Illini look to pillage the village. Look at all the blockers and the bodies they put towards the line of scrimmage, bringing force into the backfield. That left no Illini defenders at the third level for Darion Dupree out of Mount Carmel. They've been a football factory for years, and one of their young playmakers with the house call.
Darion Dupree on the longest play from scrimmage so far this season, an 84-yard touchdown run, eclipsing his rushing total from the last 4 games, and in doing so becoming the first 100-yard rusher this season for Wisconsin, and the first since Towie Walker did it against Northwestern a year ago. And the kickoff will go through the end zone for another touchback, but a big-time design and execution from Wisconsin.
It felt like a magic act because initially you have the pledge where you get the fullback, in this case it's Tucker Ashcraft, and then Joe Brunner getting up to the second level on that defensive back, helping to finish the run out. But then you get the turn where the running back Darion Dupree gets into the open field. But here's the prestige. Look at Eugene Hilton, the freshman wide receiver. You've got to commit to the bit. He's pretending like there's a deep pass coming over the head of Torrey Cox. That allowed the afterburners that we saw there from Dupree.
Injured player for Illinois, number 30, JoJo Hayden, and he is up with the Illini medical staff and walking off under his own power. But I love the commitment, the commit to the bit.
Yeah,
that's also a good
right?
one.
You've had to do that before, right?
Of course.
Just run the defender off,
well, it's easier
like
than blocking a guy for 10
right.
seconds. I'm sure that made Dad T.Y. Hilton proud to see Eugene playing a big role in that Dupree 84-yard touchdown. And now Wisconsin has scored their most points against the Big Ten opponent this season and has eclipsed the 14-point mark for the first time since week 2, September 6th. It's been a minute. It's got to feel good now for Wisconsin, trying to capitalize on that momentum here on the defensive side. Altmaier is going to be sacked. Darrell Peterson on senior day gets another.
There's blood in the water at Camp Randall Stadium right now, and these Sharks rushing the edge for Wisconsin can smell it. Look at Darrell Peterson, chop the hands down of J.C. Davis. When you get speed in the feet of the offensive tackle, he's unweighted, and then the burst to finish.
7-yard loss on Peterson's second sack of the night, third for the Wisconsin defense. Altmaier, quick throw, gets it out to Khalil Valentine. Gets a nice block and picks up a couple of yards, but boy, I mean, Peterson is rolling tonight.
There's such violence to his hands, Red. You can do a double hand swipe down. So with the violence that he chopped down the hands of J.C. Davis, you see how it unweights him. So his entire upper body is leaning forward. That makes it difficult to recover.
Another third down as this Camp Randall crowd is on its feet, and Peterson applying the pressure once again as Altmaier's pass falls incomplete, intended for Justin Bowick. Deani Hill on the coverage, and the Badger defense is going to force another Illini punt.
There's such mechanics to the way they rush the quarterback. I mean, across the board, you see guys using levers, violent hands, clubbing arm over. But as much as anything, it's the effort that they continue to play with.
Keelan Crimmins. Little low snap there, but able to get it off. High punts. Tyrell Henry works his way underneath it. And good coverage by the Illini. But pretty good field position for Wisconsin. Hey, Friday, great volleyball doubleheader comes your way when top-ranked Nebraska clashes with Penn State. That's followed by a border battle between the Badgers and Minnesota. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Huskers remain a perfect 28-0 after a win over Indiana tonight, but all the wins feels like right now coming the way of that Wisconsin pass rush.
The lean that you see those edge rushers rushing with, and as big as those interior defensive linemen are, they press the gaps as well.
So Dupree follows up his 84-yard touchdown run with a gain of 4. Set up a 2nd down and 6. Taking a look at what the Wisconsin defense has done. 5 or more sacks each of the last 2 weeks, 14 the last 3 games, which is right up there in terms of the most that we've seen from any team in college football, behind only UNC and Texas. And again, some of that eye candy there, but Carter Smith fakes that give to Tyrell Henry, coming around the edge, takes it right up the middle.
So we're not seeing the same degree of penetration right now. It looked like Aaron Henry, the defensive coordinator for Illinois, on the previous series, he wanted to try to see if he could speed up the process of Carter Smith by getting some more bodies working toward the line of scrimmage, penetrating into the backfield. They got gashed with a chunk run. So right now, he's got more defenders laying back again, as they did throughout much of the first half, not pressing the issue as much.
Wisconsin offense looking for their first 3rd down conversion since the first quarter. And Carter Smith going to try to do it on the ground. And he does. Falling down, but a flag comes out. I wonder if they're going to get Tucker Ashcraft on a potential hold here.
Initially, he was in really good position, Rhett, but then once that defender tries to disengage, that's where you often see the offensive blocker, especially on those stalk blocks out in the open field, where the hands can get extended. The officials are discussing it, though.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the offense. Holding, number 11, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, face mask, number 11. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still 3rd down.
Double whammy for Ashcraft. Got the face mask and the hold.
Well, they've been really eager to get Tucker Ashcraft back into the lineup. It's been an injury-plagued season for him. I mean, you know, if you're holding the face mask, do you really need both flags? I mean, you know, it's a face mask.
Sure.
It's called a face mask. I don't know.
Now, Matthew Bailey was the victim on that play. I certainly appreciated it. And now, way behind the sticks here on 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and 15. And again, going to try to run it with a design QB run that went nowhere. The Illini defense, led by Gabe Akis, able to come up with the stop. Going to be a loss of 2.
That's where a penalty means so much to this Wisconsin offense, just for where they're at in their development. I mean, we highlighted now 4 different starting quarterbacks, but then some of those injuries in the backfield as well. Gideon Ituka, Dylan Jones, Cade Yacomelli. So they've been banged up in a number of different spots. The penalty setting them back. They're not in a position where it's easy to recover.
Sean West, low punt. It's going to bounce just inside the 40. And down from the 27-yard line. So Daryl Peterson, 2 sacks in his final game at Camp Randall Stadium, lighting up these fans here in Madison. History of the rivalry, sponsored by Venmo. This football season, score more with Venmo. Well, more scoring might have been appreciated by both teams in this 3-3 historic tie back in the 1995 meeting between these 2 teams. This Camp Randall Stadium has seen many memorable moments, but that was the last tie in FBS history. Went to the overtime scoring rules, right, following that season. So that was the last tie right there. 3-3 between these 2 teams as Aiden Lawfrey gets the carry. Just his 3rd of the game as he splits time with Khalil Valentine and Caden Fagan.
So for right now, a number of the backup defenders on the defensive line are in the game. This, if I'm Barry Lenny Jr., this is where I try to attack with the drop back pass while you've got a moment.
Going to be a little play action there quickly as Altmaier, long throw, got it complete. Justin Bowick comes up with his first catch of the game.
And Wisconsin's backups are talented as well, but they're not Daryl Peterson and Mason Reiger and JVR Suggs and Ben Barton.
That's right, trying to give those guys a little bit of a rest. Gain of 11 there on that completion from Altmaier. Lawfrey again with the carry. He's going to get 2. And now now back comes Suggs and Barton on the interior.
And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised. I would think tempo could have even been considered there so that you can take advantage and not allow them the chance to rotate. Now the starters are back in.
It's a good thought. Altmaier, good protection, going to take a deep shot, looking for Colin Dixon, trying to come back to the ball, and does. Makes a terrific adjustment there with Ricardo Hallman all over him. But Dixon able to come back, and now they are going to go fast. Gain of 37.
Hallman looking back for the football. Looked like maybe the nose just brushes the ground a bit.
And it looks like we got a stoppage for potential
Ruling
review
on the previous
here.
play was a completed pass. That play is under further review.
Brett Bielema trying to plead his case to the officials here. But let's take a closer look, Anthony.
I love the adjustment that Dixon makes to the ball in flight. And really good coverage as well from Ricardo Hallman. He looks back for the ball multiple times over his shoulder, trying to track it.
Now, on the last look, I didn't think that tip of the ball hit the serve. Let's welcome our rules analyst, Steve Strimling, for his thoughts on this one. Steve?
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to look for. He has control, but as he goes to the ground, if that ball does hit the ground, he does lose control of it. And that, if it does hit the ground and that loss of control, will change that to incomplete.
So 2 times in which the ball looked like it was, thank you very much, Steve, looked like it was close to hitting the turf. The first time was there as he went to the ground initially, and then as he rolled over, was kind of trying to maintain control again.
And that's the thing. Control is the right word for it because the ball is allowed to touch the ground. But if they believe a clean reception has already been made there, you see that the ball isn't in all 10 fingers, and he's sort of re-grasping it at that moment. So the call on the field was that a reception was made, and it continues to roll over again in his hand. At that point, he actually maybe has cleaner possession of it,
It's what it looks
even
like.
though the ball's touching the ground again for a second time.
This is as close as it gets with the way that ball grazes the turf first there, and then the last time as he's coming back up from the ground. And here's the call from Cole Knipp.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. 1st and 10, Illinois.
So Illinois, big fans of that call. Not so much for the fans right below us here in the broadcast booth.
Well, I'm curious what the fans began to cheer about. I don't know if they were still trying to influence the official or if they saw some body language from someone, because Camp Randall came to life for a moment. They thought the call was about to go their way. I'm just not completely sure what they were basing it off of. They're trying to wish it into existence. Maybe that's what it was. Wish casting.
So longest connection through the air of the night for the Illini offense, 36 yards. Altmaier to Dixon. And now from the 21 to 1st and 10. And Altmaier, design QB run here, going to keep it. Had a chance to give it, but made the right choice and got 7 yards.
I feel like we continue to call it an underappreciated part of Luke Altmaier's game. So at a certain point, I think everyone does appreciate his mobility and the speed that he can turn the corner with. Because off that mesh point, Mason Posa is late to react because he was thinking the ball was inside. And that's where that ball handling really comes into play, where you have to respect the run.
Looked like maybe there was some initial confusion on the call on Posa's part as he was looking back towards his fellow freshman Cooper Catalano, who does wear the green dot for the Badgers. And a 1st down run from Aiden Lawfery will bring the Illini inside the 10.
So now having 1st and goal from inside the 10, this is where the Illini have been really impressive once you get not only into the red zone, but inside the 10. Because it can be so tough to try and find space once you get down here. And there's not a lot of real jump ball targets to try and have a matchup one-on-one. But Barry Lunny and Luke Altmaier, they've been really effective throughout the season at creating space with misdirection and mobility.
28 red zone touchdowns this season for the Illini. Altmaier scored on a QB run back in the 1st half, and Hank Beatty has this reception quickly. We see that from Beatty a bunch, kind of moving horizontally and close to the line of scrimmage, just his 4th catch of the evening.
And part decoy, part pass receiver, part playmaker. He certainly fills a number of roles, and he's been in this offense for years now, former quarterback at the high school level. We've seen him throw passes as he's been here within this Berolini offense as well. Love the pursuit that Wisconsin has going right now.
2nd and 6. 2nd and goal from the 6. Altmaier around the right side on a design QB run with blockers out in front, but couldn't get a hold of Mason Posa. Forces Altmaier out of bounds. It'll bring up a 3rd and goal as Wisconsin tries to close the gap here, or Illinois tries to close the gap here on Wisconsin and make this a 1-score game.
And that's where the pursuit that I referenced for Wisconsin wanted to be a controlled aggression. But from outside the 5-yard line, there is a moment to react as a linebacker to get yourself back in position to aid the tackles. But the inside of Wisconsin's defensive line, they've got to make sure that that Illini offensive line isn't able to peel up to the next level on a run play.
Altmaier has the ball on 3rd down. Pressure, tries to get it quickly to Bowick. Falls incomplete. Some exasperation on the part of Altmaier. And Illinois will have to settle for a field goal attempt. So a big stop there, bend but don't break by that Badger defense.
You'll see Bowick appear in the screen from the left side. Luke Altmaier tried to feed it into him, but he wasn't even looking for the football yet. So that's where Luke Altmaier was a little bit exasperated afterwards because they weren't on the same page.
Milano, 24-yard field goal attempt. From the right hash, no doubter. Put that one through. And we now have a 1-possession game. Wisconsin up 17-10. Monday, don't miss men's hoops when the 8th-ranked Fighting Illini square off against Texas Rio Grande Valley. Live coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Illinois with a 40-point win today against Long Island. They improved to 5-1 and have been rolling this year. Their lone blemish came at the hands of a ranked Alabama team. Brad Underwood got his guys playing well so far to start this season. And the kick, a high one into the end zone, and another touchback. Here we'll set up this Wisconsin offense with the true freshman Carter Smith out once again.
You think about the position that Luke Fickell is in with this football team, Brett. I mean, there's understandable exasperation. It's there. We've met with him in person a number of times, off season to in season. This year has not gone anywhere near the way that he was hoping for, while facing the most difficult schedule in all of college football. But tonight is just the latest example of the way that his team has continued to fight and find ways to develop. You got a true freshman in here at quarterback against a nationally ranked squad.
And the give's going to be to DeKel Crowdis, the receiver, who comes around on another one of those end arounds that we've seen a couple of times. Vinny Anthony scored on one back in the first half. We've seen Trech Kekahuna take one, so a gain of 12 now. They're doing it with multiple bodies.
And with that action that's going to come across the formation, the defense has to honor Carter Smith, and so it forces you to delay. That hesitation for just a moment is what allows DeKel Crowdis to be able to turn the corner.
Now, going back to the schedule for Wisconsin, well, how about that for November? 3 straight games against ranked college football playoff teams. The Illini ranked 21st in the committee's most recent installment of rankings. And now Carter Smith on first down gets flushed out. Running to the sideline, is able to connect with Jackson Aker. And that'll be a gain of 6.
Some impressive footwork there for the 250-pounder. Carter Smith kind of ran himself into trouble a little bit, but yes, just narrowly inbounds is the left foot of Jackson Aker. Fullback slash tight end slash running back slash motivational speaker.
There you go. That carry from Darian Dupree will be a minimal gain brought down by Matthew Bailey, who's kind of been that guy that Aaron Henry has been installing as the free hitter on the defensive side of the ball for the Illini. So that will be the end of the third quarter. Wisconsin taking a 17-10 lead into the final 15 minutes.
Let's jump, Brett.
And for the last time at Camp Randall this season, let's jump.
Let's go.
31 seniors here for Wisconsin. Get to watch the Camp Randall crowd jump one last time. And on a third down, a terrific play design, little misdirection, and a completion from Carter Smith to the running back. Darion Dupree will move the sticks for the Badgers.
Love that play design off the mesh, because on third and short, that's where a favorable down and distance means so much to this offense and this young quarterback, because the defense has to honor. Look at all the linebackers, the safeties suck up into the teeth of the defense.
Dupree remains in the game. It's going to be a little trickery, a little reverse pass. Nearly completed. Lance Mason couldn't hold on to it, got hit. Torrey Cox in there in coverage.
It was there for a moment, for just a moment. The reverse flea flicker almost had it into the hands. That was intended for awesome, but just missed the mark.
Pressure on the play there from Tanner Heckel coming in on Carter Smith after the reverse pass. And Darion Dupree, more traditionally, will go forward for a gain of 5. Matthew Bailey in on the stop for the Illini, but that was close to an explosive play there for Wisconsin.
For Dupree himself, the decisiveness is the main element, the area of his ball carrying that they've really been hungry to see grow. When you miss a little bit of time, even as a running back, it's one thing to know where the play is designed to go, but to be in the action, to be in the fight, and have to react under leverage.
Another third down opportunity on this possession for Wisconsin. Completed pass to Trechke Kahuna goes nowhere. Tanner Heckel again in on the stop, and now a decision that it looks like Luke Fickell has already made. It's going to be a punt. Atticus Bertrams will punt it away.
The eyes of Carter Smith out there the entire time, so that actually leads the defense in that direction. We referenced earlier, Rhett, some of the eye discipline shown by Luke Fickell to manipulate certain levels of the opposing defense. It's a little different as a young quarterback just making his second start.
And the flag comes out on the punt by Bertrams, which bounces back and kicked essentially out of bounds by the long snapper Nick Levy, but there is a flag here. Ball goes out of bounds at the 1. And the flag there might have been illegal touching. I don't think you could kick it
I've never seen
out of bounds. Although it was resourceful. So there's at minimum 2 flags here. You can see the headlinesman trying to explain some things to Bielema. Yeah.
Just at the last moment, he wasn't going to have an opportunity to bend down and get it with his hands. So just to stop it from rolling into the end zone, stick that left foot out.
So a bit of a conference here for Cole Knippel and his crew, which will head to the 32-yard line there.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the kicking team. Illegal formation, 5 in the backfield. That penalty is declined. Illegal kick, number 46 of the kicking team. That 10-yard penalty is enforced from the previous spot. Still 4th down.
So we're going to replay the down. There's the illegal kick by Nick Levy. This resourcefulness not rewarded by the rule book. And this time, because of the penalty, now pushing them back, not in a pooch punt type of situation. So Sean West will come out instead of Bertram's. Bertram's usually in that scenario, and well, rightly so. It was a terrific backspin that ended up bouncing back and allowing the Badgers to try to touch it down. But get called for the penalty, and now the repunt from West. Hank Beatty muffs the punt, but is able to recover without incident. Beatty stepping under a high punt from West, just getting back on top of it. Football, the Big Ten Network, brought to you by TIAA and by White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Drink responsibly. Boy, and I'll cheers one to the heroes of our crew, which you're seeing right now, the guys behind the scenes who do such a great job for us each and every week, all season long. We've had an absolute blast. Such a big team that goes into making these productions a success. And the newest member of our Big Ten Network crew, Sammy Haberman, son of Guy and Alyssa Haberman, born last week. And I was told he took a 3-hour nap right before kickoff so that he could stay up for the entire game, which is impressive that they've acquired that kind of sleep training this early. Just shows you what kind of parents they are and will be. Much love to Guy and Alyssa.
Discipline. That's exactly what that is. That's what it takes to be great.
So good. 6-yard gain on 1st down for the Illini. Down 7. They've been so good in one-possession games, right? One-score games. That has kind of been a staple of the Brett Bielema era here at Illinois. Hank Beatty comes up with a grab. And it's Beatty's 5th of the day. Goes for 7. And so they'll get a 1st down now and a fresh set of downs from the 27. I think Beatty's been a little bit quiet. Haven't seen some of those explosive plays that he's able to make with the ball in his hands. On a 1st and 10 now for Altmaier. Got some pressure again. Gonna let one loose. That one falls incomplete, but for Beatty, he leads the conference in yards after the catch, yet Wisconsin's kind of been around to keep him corralled.
That pursuit has really been on another level for the Badgers throughout the night tonight, and especially with the impact that their defensive front has had on the game. But it makes it that much tougher for Luke Altmaier to deliver runner's balls, where you can continue to be able to make the reception, keep your momentum going up the field.
4th in the Big Ten in receiving yards, 4th in all-purpose yards. And Caden Fagan gets the late handoff from Luke Altmaier on that mesh, which, boy, approached the line of scrimmage there as he eventually got it off to him. And we got a down Wisconsin defender.
Timeout for an injured defensive player.
It's Mason Posa, the playmaking linebacker who, over the course of the last month, has become one of the stories of the college football season, along with his fellow freshman Cooper Catalano. So we'll check on Mason Posa and get ready for a 3rd down from Illinois when we return. Wisconsin freshman linebacker Mason Posa was in on the stop on that 2nd down play from Illinois. He came off the field, went into the medical tent, and has worked his way out. He's on a light jog into the locker room. There's a look at the play, Ant.
Well, you had the hustling Ben Barton pursuing the play, and at the end, all 330 pounds of Ben Barton went directly into the upper body of Mason Posa while he was exposed on the ground. So Posa taken back to the locker room.
Keep an eye on his availability. But a good time to have Christian Allegro back from injury and available, even though he's got that big club on his left hand. Was the starting linebacker coming into the season. played through a broken hand against Ohio State. Had a few reps against Indiana last week. More extended play this week for Mike Tressel, the defensive coordinator, who's got a call here on 3rd down now. And Luke Altmaier is sacked once again. Hat trick for the senior. Darrell Patterson, his 3rd sack of the night.
Formationally, they tried to set up a release, but Darrell Peterson ends up getting home using power this time. But the reason he had time to get home was because of the coverage on the back end. It's a defensive line that's certainly been able to take this game over at various times throughout the night, but the coverage at the 2nd and 3rd level is what made that one happen. That was a coverage sack.
A couple of times now we've seen Luke Altmaier double clutch. Bad snap again, and this time the Wisconsin punt return unit is there. Charlie Jarvis comes up with the stop after the snap could not be corralled by Keelan Crimmins. A couple of times tonight, Lane Hansen has been a little bit low with the snaps for the Illini punt team, and Jarvis was there to pounce.
You're all over it, Rhett. There have been multiple long snaps that have been low and difficult to handle. This one, Crimmins couldn't come up with. He had the rush going either way from Jarvis. Huge kind of event for the Badgers, now able to get their offense on the field in the red zone.
Think of the awareness there, too, from a player like Jarvis, right? So many times you're focused on your guy. Get your guy blocked for the return. You don't see the ball leave the punter's foot. He does. He's there to capitalize on the Illini mistake. And now, from inside the 15, Carter Smith will try to pad the Badger lead. A couple of yards there on 1st down. Danny?
Wisconsin freshman linebacker Mason Pozo was just taken to the locker room to be evaluated for an upper body injury. I saw him favoring that left hand. He's questionable to return.
Okay, Danny, that is an impactful loss if it is extended for the Wisconsin defense. But again, Christian Allegro, plenty experience to come in, and that's kind of the benefit of getting some of these guys back from injury and having that depth that has been developed now with the freshmen Catalano and Posa. 2nd down, and we've got some flags here.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 2nd out.
So he called that one on Riley Maltman. It did seem to me that there was a little indecision on the snap itself. So you had some players moving, some players not moving. Carter Smith trying to time up the motion.
Well, that's the thing. It looked like that was going to set up for disaster if that play had gone off without the false start, because the motion in was definitely a little bit off in timing. And so now you move back to the 16-yard line in a 2nd and 12. Carter Smith, plenty of time on the rollout. Will rush out to his right and will just take that one out of bounds. Might lose one or two. That's maybe where a more experienced quarterback kind of lets that one rip to avoid losing any yardage once he's out of the pocket.
And Red, he had Jaden Ballard available for him coming across the formation. He's going to start here and just work easy through a route with it. Initially an easy release and then stems the defender. He's wide open there towards the corner, but Carter Smith never sees him because initially the misdirection, his reads are short. But eventually your eyes as a QB have to see after it's not there short. Maybe you've got a touchdown opportunity.
Ballard, the transfer from Ohio State, limited opportunities this year. Sure did want that one. 3rd and long now for Carter Smith. Got it complete. Touch Kahuna. He's got some room. First out of bounds right at the line to gain. Let's see how it is going to be a 1st down. Kahuna, gain of 14. Huge play for Wisconsin. Forced out by Eckel. And he'll set up a 1st and goal.
And it was a jump pass from the youngster Carter Smith. He wasn't completely sure if he could see where Trash Kahuna was. Leapt into the air to make sure he was getting the trajectory on the ball that he needed to deliver it accurately to his playmaker.
Flexing on him for the celebration is Kekahuna. And now we've got a direct snap situation. Darian Dupree gets it from center. Dupree! Defender physically into the end zone for Wisconsin. Darian Dupree, touchdown number 2, and Wisconsin has a 13-point lead as Nathaniel Vakos tries to put the extra point through to make it 14 points, and it is a 14-point advantage. Wisconsin having a day on senior day.
It's been a beleaguered offensive line rep, but look at the work that Davis Heinsohn does on this touchdown run. He was a left tackle to open the season, but they're working through the shoulder of the defensive tackle, and from there now you're in a position for the offensive line to climb up to level number 2, and you get Darian Dupree running like some of the big backs in Badgers history.
Okay. Darian Dupree has been a star for the Badgers today, an 84-yard touchdown, and then one where he had to showcase some physicality down at the goal line, has given Wisconsin a 2-score lead as the kick goes back for another touchback. Let's check out the physicality here up front.
And the work they're putting in, you get a fold block coming over there from Kerry Kadenko, and he's got to stay square enough just in case there's any leakage at the point of attack. So while he loops around, you get the wall at the point of attack, washing the pile from Lance Mason, Emerson Mandel.
You know, we were talking to offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes yesterday and said, look, he loved the elusiveness of Darian Dupree coming into the season, right? Makes guys miss a lot. Saw that on the 84-yard touchdown run, but the thing he's been more impressed with as of late is his ability to get 3 dirty yards. He got him right there for that touchdown.
Decisiveness.
So Luke Altmaier, again, pressure in his face, does get that off and complete. It's Hank Beatty with another grab, but Altmaier just under assault all night long and limping a little bit. Gain of 10 on the completion, and they'll go fast.
They've got no choice but to go tempo, and their quarterback looks a bit hobbled right now.
Altmaier got it complete. Justin Bowick makes another grab, his second of the night, and that'll move the sticks once again on a gain of 13.
The Illini offense has had some nice moments this season when they've gone tempo. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a little surprised we haven't seen it sprinkled in more in this game.
Quick throw. Got it complete. Beatty has come up with a couple of grabs as of late here for the Illini. Gain of 6. They'll keep the tempo rolling. It's working right now as Wisconsin brings in some substitutions.
And as Illinois is going tempo, it can be tough to sub. Illinois actually didn't substitute on their end on that play. So I was thinking maybe you'd see Josh Cruz go with the quick snap.
Pocket collapsing again, but Altmaier able to let loose. That one goes out of bounds. So it'll bring up a 3rd down just across midfield. And you're clearly in 4-down territory here if you're Brett Bielema.
Right, there's no doubt about that. And, you certainly don't want a miscommunication as you're going tempo, but this is an offensive line that's been in these situations. Certainly with a quarterback and receivers who've been through this before. The tempo aspect of this, they can operate at a high level.
So you wonder if they are in 4-down territory here for Bielema, whether that affects the play call here from offensive coordinator Barry Lunny Jr. Pressure off the edge has Altmaier stepping up and trying over the middle again for Beatty, but that one falls incomplete. Offense clearly staying on the field. 4th down has been pretty advantageous for the Illini so far this year. They're 12 of 16. That's a 75% success rate.
Well, depending on how much the defense believes Luke Altmaier isn't as mobile right now, the fact that he's limping around, you're not as concerned with him taking off and running to pick up his 5 yards.
Massive situation. Altmaier pressure, gonna go down. Christian Allegro, the junior linebacker, back into the lineup with a more extended snap count, makes a huge play for the Wisconsin defense to turn it over on downs.
You see the big cast on the broken left hand of Christian Allegro. Essentially uses it as a boxing glove. He'll appear out of the right side of your screen, matched up one-on-one with Caden Fagan. He's the best pass-protecting running back the Illini have. But Allegro comes in at 6'2", 255 pounds into the lap of Luke Altmaier for the sack.
Look at Allegro fired up after the 5th sack of the night for the Wisconsin defense. It has been the theme. So now 3 straight weeks, the Badgers defense is at 5 sacks. And Carter Smith, Darion Dupree, the Wisconsin offensive line will try to grind some clock here. Danny?
Linebacker Christian Allegro broke his arm about 5 weeks ago against the Buckeyes. Now, the ball was in his and his family's court on if he wanted to continue playing this season. It does not shock a single person that Allegro returned back to the field. And he was actually on the jugs machine this past week during practice, trying to see if he could catch some footballs. It didn't go over well, but if a ball does come his way, he's going to use the baseball method, use both hands to try to wield a ball into his arms.
You were a Big Ten receiver, Rhett. I mean, you ever break your hand and stay on the jugs machine?
No, did not. Oh, ball on the ground. But Darion Dupree able to reach out with one paw and bring that back into his body. Gonna be a loss of 4 on the play.
Near disaster right there. Fortuitous bounce for Wisconsin. Came right back up into the hands of Darion Dupree.
Tomiwa Durajaye comes up with the forced fumble there that could have been huge for the Wisconsin defense. Still an opportunity to get off the field now on a 3rd and 11. And they're going to give it to Tretch Kekahuna again on the end around, and Kekahuna! First down and more out of bounds, but a huge gain for the Badgers. 25 yards on the run.
As he comes in motion across the formation, multiple blockers occupying. Gayback is just making sure that they'll be able to seal the edge enough to utilize the speed of Tretch Kekahuna. I used the term leverage earlier, Rhett. Leverage can be something where you're getting force into a blocker, trying to move him against his will, also to out-leverage, to outflank the defense is what we're seeing.
Oh, they try it again with the receiver getting the run. And it's Tyrell Henry who does return some punts for them. Henry gonna gain 2, and we're gonna start to see some timeouts here.
Timeout, Illinois. First of the half, 30 seconds.
So Illinois uses their first timeout of the half. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Wisconsin up 14 with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go, and in position to add to that lead now. Right at the 20-yard line, the Illini just used their first timeout of the second half. But the Wisconsin ground game has showed up here on a drive that has allowed them to milk some clock. Tretch Kekahuna, 25-yard run to convert on a 3rd and long. And now a 2nd and 8. For the true freshman quarterback, Carter Smith, who has looked pretty dang poised today.
And this Jeff Grimes offense that has had so many different versions of itself throughout the season.
Handoff, Darion Dupree puts his shoulder into Matt Bailey. Does bring him down, but is able to pick up a few.
Timeout, Illinois. Second charge, 30 seconds.
Okay, another timeout from Brett Bielema. They have one left here in the second half. Time for today's Good Hands Moment, sponsored by Allstate. And the hands from the Wisconsin pass rushers coming up big.
These violent hands, these active hands, the levers of these Badgers. Every time you see them turning the corner, pulling away offensive linemen, disengaging from blockers with extreme prejudice.
Christian Allegro, the latest, with the sack that forced the turnover on downs that has given Wisconsin a chance to run some clock and perhaps put this game out of reach. Sacks this season for Wisconsin, 12 in the first 7 games, 17 in their last 4 games, including 5 tonight. And as we mentioned, against some big-time competition with their last 3 opponents being ranked in the college football playoff rankings.
The way they've invested in the D-line between bulking internal guys up in their following season, bringing in guys in the transfer portal.
Darian Dupree, another carry. 124 yards now on the ground for Dupree. First 100-yard rusher this season for Wisconsin.
Charge timeout. Illinois, 30 seconds.
We were in Vegas for Big Ten Media Days for Big Ten Radio, and talking to Luke Fickell there, that was a huge storyline for Wisconsin throughout the offseason. Bringing in Billy Edwards Jr. as a quarterback and getting bigger and deeper up front on the defensive line. The physicality was what they were hoping would return to Wisconsin Badgers football. Now, we know the storyline of the quarterback injuries that have been there with the 4 different starters. Lost what was supposed to be their left tackle, Kevin Haywood, over the offseason as well. Just recently losing Jake Renfro from the center position. All the injuries they've had at running back. But the plan to have one of the best defensive fronts in this conference, that has certainly come to fruition.
Executed quite well by coaching staff, evaluation staff, and certainly the players themselves, as Nathaniel Vakos is on to make this a 3-score game from 32 yards. Vakos is good, and Wisconsin has a 17-point lead with 4 minutes and 23 seconds to go. On that last 3rd down run, Wisconsin went over 200 yards rushing for the first time today. First time since they played Rutgers a year ago. And their first time scoring points in all 4 quarters since November 23rd, around this time a year ago in a game at Nebraska. Would be their 2nd win in their last 3 games if they're able to hold on here.
I don't think he's smiling yet. Not yet.
There's still some game to be played here. Now.
Yeah.
The Illini do not go away quietly. Luke Altmaier has been really good with his back against the wall in these types of situations, but a lot of work to do. And the kickoff from Vakos will sail once again into the end zone. So this Wisconsin Badger program, flags fly. We'll get back to that shortly, but excited about the Kellner Family Athletic Center as you see some of the ongoing construction here. 120-yard indoor turf field, strength and conditioning center, 305-meter training track, new dining hall, sports medicine center, coaching offices, athlete well-being spaces.
Number 7, Wisconsin. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the touchback spot. 1st and 10, Illinois. That is number 7's first of the game.
So Tyrese Fearbry gets called for the unsportsmanlike, which is a huge penalty here in terms of field position for the Illini. Will now start this drive from the 40-yard line.
Running down on the kickoff covered team, getting double teamed. A lot of times guys aren't too thrilled about getting double teamed. I don't know.
I mean, a little frustration, sure, but
I guess that was.
Got to maintain composure when your team is up here.
Okay.
Altmaier got it complete. Quick throw out to Caden Fagan, who makes Tackler missed, ball goes on the ground, but again, the Illini are able to come up with the recovery. So Fagan puts it on the turf. Colin Dixon able to recover it and actually gives them a few extra yards. Gamir Latimer is the one who forced it out. It'll go for 19 yards, now into Badger territory.
That's what you get from pursuit. Of course, some tempo being shown here by Illinois.
All right, Altmaier again going to try to check that down to Caden Fagan quickly, but Darrell Peterson, who's been an absolute stud in his final home game at Camp Randall, comes up with the batted pass.
He is putting on an absolute show tonight as Darrell Peterson. The fuel in the tank that it takes to play at this level, chasing this quarterback around, these volume of passes, it's otherworldly.
I want people to remember me, that I gave my all every day and didn't let the circumstances affect my attitude. Mission accomplished tonight for Darrell Peterson. That's what he told us coming in, and more pressure on Altmaier as he ends up getting hit by Cheeks, and we've got more flags for unsportsmanlike after the play. Right tackle Melvin Priestley involved with Sebastian Cheeks. And we'll see who they end up calling this on.
Some extracurriculars after the play.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 58, 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. Down counts, it's third down. That is 58's first unsportsmanlike toward disqualification.
Well, the rush that was there from Mason Reiger initially forced Luke Altmaier to climb the pocket. And then from there, you get Sebastian Cheeks kind of laying on top of the quarterback. And, you know, offensive linemen, they've been known to do such things, but that is, for a couple of years now, it's been a point of emphasis not to have guys dragging opposing bodies off of the pile.
And that is a huge penalty. 15 yards makes it 3rd and 25. Already up against it in terms of the deficit and the clock, and now the down and distance. More pressure. It's Peterson again, Reiger, and Altmaier just has to throw it away. And the pressure continues. Luke Altmaier under siege all night long.
The coverage is off, so to throw it over anyone's head isn't really going to work. But that inside looping from Darrell Peterson forces Luke Altmaier to evacuate the pocket immediately. Look, they get into an immediate pedal on the back end at the safety position. You run the coverage off like that, so even something like a tunnel screen, there's not enough bodies going toward the line of scrimmage for that to be effective.
Wisconsin has lined up their defenders, couple of safeties and linebackers way back by the line to gain. Another flag flies as Altmaier has it complete, well shy of the line to gain. There'll be a turnover on downs, and another flag flies. There were some more punches thrown, it felt like, at the very end as Luke Altmaier was releasing that ball.
I don't know if that play ever happened. That might have been a figment of our imaginations. I don't think we saw what we think we just saw.
Well, Cole Knippel's going to let us know exactly what the situation is here.
Live ball, unsportsmanlike foul, number 58 of Illinois. That player is ejected from the game. The penalty is declined. The ball is turned over on downs. 1st and 10, Wisconsin.
So Melvin Priestley disqualified. Was his 2nd unsportsmanlike penalty. And the Wisconsin defense came up with the stop either way. And Brett Bielema was going to have a word with his right tackle.
Certainly a teachable moment for Brett Bielema. To immediately let his player know. Engaged with Sebastian Cheeks. Got to keep him away from the quarterback. Both guys, as they're tangled up with each other, Priestley already having a flag just to snap a go. Hits the defender in the face.
And that will send him to the sideline, and now actually all the way to the locker room. So the Wisconsin offense back with the ball. And Luke Fickell is running out to the line judge here. They declined the penalty. I don't know why they moved him all the way back to the 44-yard line. It is Wisconsin ball. So they declined the penalty. The tackle on the completion felt like it was shy of midfield, but they're going to set this up from the 44. And here comes Carter Smith with a 1st and 10. Chris Brooks, the receiver in motion, will lead block for Darian Dupree. That'll go for 3 yards.
It's a Wisconsin offensive line that hasn't had this opportunity much during the season, but there's still over 3 minutes to go in the game, and so you're going into what we know is 4-minute offense mode. You know you're going to run the football. Your opponent knows you're going to run the football, but you've got to still come up with the blocks, the footwork, the hitting of your landmarks to give your backs an opportunity to gain yardage and salt this game away.
And that's what they're in a position to do here. The Illini out of timeouts. 2:40 and counting on the clock. Carter Smith, design quarterback run. Gets to the 46-yard line. Close to 1st down yardage. And they're in a position to take this all the way down to the 2-minute timeout. This is not a familiar setting for Wisconsin. To be in control this way, this late in the game, where the offense can just salt some clock away with a comfortable lead. Got to go all the way back to week 2 when they felt this way. And so that will bring us to the 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
210 yards rushing. 3 sacks from 17 in red, the senior, Darrell Peterson. Dominant effort, both sides of the ball. Wisconsin out in front.
Dave Repson, Howard Griffith with you. I'm not sure I saw this coming.
No,
I'm
no
not
one
sure
saw this
Illinois
coming.
did either.
Yeah, they didn't see it coming at all. But Luke Fickell's had this team playing really hard. They played well all year long, just have not had the health of their players on the field. This is a good football team.
Man, they really put it together a great game plan. It has been executed beautifully. As soon as the game is over, we got the post-game complete reaction. We will give you the post-game news conferences, here from the coaches as well, guys.
Well, just 10 points tonight for the Fighting Illini. Illinois had been held under 20 points just twice this season, both losses against Ohio State and Indiana, and the Wisconsin defense has done it again. Darrell Peterson, a huge piece of it. 3 sacks in his home finale here at Camp Randall.
You want to show out on senior day. Darrell Peterson has certainly done that.
3rd down run, 1st down for Wisconsin. And Darrell Peterson, one of 31 seniors running out onto the field pregame, honored. Parents here to celebrate a fantastic finish, home finish for Darrell Peterson's career. You know, there just isn't many of these, you know, a senior night where, you know, so many times with today's landscape of college football where you see guys who maybe just played their final season at one stop, but Darrell Peterson has been here at Wisconsin and gets to be celebrated in front of these fans as the Badgers will move to back-to-back home wins against Big Ten opponents for the first time since 2022, taking knees now.
We're being told by Wisconsin, first time since 2021, the Badgers have had multiple wins versus a top 25 opponent in the same season. We know what this year has been for Luke Fickell. Chris McIntosh came out recently and said he will return as our coach next season. There will be investment in this program in more ways than one. And week after week, this is a team that is showing they're responding to their head coach.
Another knee there from Carter Smith. Second-rate second win against a college football ranked team in the last 3 games. As you're starting to see some of the depth players come in and seniors getting a chance to take the field at Camp Randall one last time. Some substitutions on the offensive line. And that'll do it. The clock winding down, the Badger fans winding up. Second straight time at home at Camp Randall. The Badger faithful has been able to celebrate a win on the field with a team that has found some spark amidst a season full of struggle. And will finish the home slate winners of 2 in a row. And what a senior day send-off for guys like Daryl Peterson, Ben Barton. So many guys who have seen it all here at Wisconsin through coaching transition. And now get to feel the love on the field from these fans. Luke Fickell and the Badgers 2-1 since the vote of confidence from athletic director Chris McIntosh, as you mentioned. Carter Smith, the true freshman, in just his second start, gets a win. And we go down to Danny Rogers on the field, standing by with one of the stars of the evening.
Daryl, all night long, you made it pretty miserable for Illinois quarterback Luke Altmaier. 3 sacks on the night. What was your vantage point all night long?
To be honest, coming into this game, or last game really, I've been struggling. Only had 1 sack on the season, and I'm talking to God. I'm asking God, like, you know, this is cool, man. But I'm talking to God, and I'm like, when is it gonna crack for me? And I'm a senior. I only got a few more games left. Like, when is it gonna crack? And then in Bible study before the game yesterday, the verse was Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. Basically, you reap what you sow. If you grow not faith, in due time you will reap a harvest. And this is amazing. I'm just so glad that God allowed me to do this, man. I got to give all thanks and glory to Him.
How did that performance validate you, especially on senior night?
Oh, I can't think of a better way to go out. Storming the field, 3 sacks, as you said. I just got to give all thanks to my teammates, my coaches, and most importantly, God.
You told me yesterday Madison, Wisconsin will forever be home to you.
Yeah.
What does this place mean to you?
I think you see it right here. It means the world to me, and I wouldn't rather be any place else right now.
Appreciate it. Congrats.
Thank you.
Daryl Peterson, part of a leadership group that has seen the adversity, has had their backs against the wall, and has stood tall in the face of the trials and tribulations of this season, and has set the tone for a group of young players like Carter Smith, Mason Posa, Cooper Catalano. They're here for the here and now, and they have set a foundation for the future.
There's a lot of ways, Rhett, to go through your college football experience at this point. To have some of the players who've been through the strife that Badgers football has experienced in recent seasons for a program that's experienced the highest of highs in the Big Ten Conference. When you think back to a few seasons ago, the last time Brett Bielema came here, it was the antithesis of a moment like this when he led the Illini to a victory in the final game of the Paul Chryst era.
One last one for the Wisconsin Badgers. Rivalry game against Minnesota up next, but tonight, enjoying a big home finale victory. That wraps it up here from Camp Randall. For Anthony Herron, Danny Rogers, and our entire crew, I'm Rhett Lewis. Let's send it to our Chicago studios.